Welcome, everyone. Another Thursday at noon from sunny, beautiful Florida. We have with us Gary Parent, Katie, and Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns. And we have big plans for today, getting more questions answered. And I'm looking forward to it. So I would say get started, Katie.
Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. And I still have some questions that have not yet been answered. But before we get into those, last week, Gary was telling us about how to open more of lymphatic gates, the 13 lymphatic gates. And some of you have reached out, and I was interested, and I know Sarah was interested in learning more about that. And Gary, you showed us like tapping on our cheeks, on our chest, and you said front door, back door. So, anyways, I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more and maybe show us some of that today to get us
Yes,
started.
yes. Thank you very much, and I would love to do that. So the 13 channels of elimination are not lymphatic gates. The gates, the six lymphatic gates, they start here and here, and they go behind the ears, the joints here. Four is from under your solar plexus or by your solar plexus down around your belly button. Gate five is your groin. Gate six is behind your knees, where all the blood and lymph comes from the back of the knee out to fill it. So that's the absorption part of your diet. When we eat, we don't process, or let's put it this way, methylation is the process of taking that food and breaking it down into different usable and non-usable categories, because everything has something in it that the body needs to eliminate. So these are eliminative channels, these 13. The six lymphatic gates allow that to go up to get to the channels. Now, the 13 channels, when I was pointing at my eyes, tears, right? When we get emotionally overcharged and the body wants to release that, that's when we start to cry. And what's in our tears is salt. So we're discharging that emotional overcharge. We're discharging that through our tears. We're cleaning our sinuses. So this is one and two, your eyes. Three and four, your ears. Earwax is an eliminative process to get rid of whatever earwax is made of. I'm not really sure. I don't really care. I just don't want it to be building up in my ear. And it keeps the canals clean because you're cleaning your ears. So, mucus, the nose, mucus, the mouth. Uh, the mouth is 70% of your detox because your lungs are constantly picking things up and it has to exhale that out. So we have one and two and three and four and five and six and seven eliminative processes or channels in just the head. Okay. And, you know, again, it's split down the middle this way. So this half of the head drains this side, and this half of the head drains on this side, which is why you can have a clogged nostril, from mucus, and you can only breathe through one side of your nose. Or it could be the other side, or it could be both sides, right? But this is an eliminative channel, and they're separate. That's why you got one and two and three and four and five and six and seven. So out of the 13, there's seven of them in your head. And this is why it's gravity fed to come down through into gate one. This is your lymphatic gate one right here. And it goes above and below the collarbone. So we just go out like this, rub like this. We do 9 times. You can do as many as you want, but I would say a minimum of 9. You do each side. Okay. And then right behind your earlobe is gate number 2. This is a lymphatic gate, because if the gates get closed, it can't get to the channels and it starts to build up in the body. And if it builds up in the body and that's acid, which it is, because the body's trying to push it out, the body pushes everything out that it doesn't want, or at least it tries to. So when these gates get closed, that acid starts to back up in the house, and in the house is where your cells are. So we don't want those cells sitting in acid. We want that lymph to come along, pick that up, and take it to the lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes take over from there and turn it from about a 3 pH to a 6. 5.56 is, which is what our skin is. And we can eliminate it without it burning us. So if you get a rash on your skin when you're sweating, it's the acid in that. It's basically urine's what it is. It's your third kidney, cellular waste, right? So I'm going to be going through the channels again. I'm just trying to explain what's going on here, right? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is urination. So, and 9 is defecation, and 10 is your skin. Let's see, am I missing a few here? Oh yes, right here. 10, 11, 12 is your lungs. And the most important one is 13, your head, your mind. Because if this isn't in the right place and you're stressed out and you're eating the wrong foods and because you're attracted to it because of the dopamine release that it gives you when you're eating fast foods, comfort foods, the perfect amount of salt, fat, and sugar hits that taste bud in the back of the tongue, which is what all scientists are trying to get the attention of, because that's a dopamine receptor back there. So if they can hit that right, you get a shot of dopamine. And then when that food starts to be digested and uh, completely digested, then you don't get that dopamine shot, which makes you want to go back and eat more of it and eat more and more and more. So you get that rush. Well, you can do that through your breath. So I'm going to go through the 13 channels again here. So it's 1, 2, it's our eyes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Urination is 11. Defecation is 12. And the most important one is the brain, 13. Those are the 13 channels of elimination. And if they get blocked anywhere in that area, if it's your ears, you're going to start having hearing problems, maybe some inflammation in your eardrum. So you got to keep those cleaned out. Your eyes for the tears, nose for the mucus, mouth for mucus, and detoxing out the toxins that are heavier than the air. And they settle in the bottom of the lungs, and that's where most of your oxygen blood transfer takes place. So we do a lion's breath to clean that out so that we can get more oxygen deep into the lungs, and that way you're getting more oxygen to the cells, because most of us, we're not getting enough oxygen in the body, and that's why your body is suffering. So when you learn to breathe and hydrate properly and to move slowly so that you're generating more energy than you're burning, your body will regenerate itself. It doesn't have a choice because there's a lack of those things that created the dis-ease in your body. So those are the 13 channels, and they're eliminative channels. And it's important to keep them open, just like it's important to keep your lymph nodes clean. This one right here especially. This is the largest lymph node in the neck. Your blood goes in and out of your brain right over that lymph node. And if it starts to swell, then it will start to deplete the blood supply to and from the brain. And what's coming from the brain is needs to be refiltered to repurify it, because it has a lot of acids and stuff in it. Well, if it can't get past this, or it's starting to be reduced, then you're going to start having issues with your memory, brain fog, forgetfulness, dementia, and Alzheimer's. And if it's both sides, it's going to be super bad. So, okay. Does that answer your question?
Oh my gosh, that was really beautiful. Thank you so much, Gary. Toni or Sarah, do you have anything to add, or do you have any questions that maybe were sparked by what Gary shared?
I do, if Toni doesn't have anything. So I've always, suffered from, but I mean, I think I've said before, I've played volleyball since I was in 7th grade, all the way and through sand volleyball as an adult until maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago or so. So I've always had that problem with my shoulder. And so I do massage. I haven't been in a little while, but I wonder if that could be an issue too. But I mean, I always chalked it up to, because I played sports for so many years and that's my arm I use, that's probably what it is. But I don't really have earwax, but I do not open up the lymphatic gates. And this was, as Katie stated, something I was interested in as well too. But could that be all related to that as well? Or I mean, at the least it could help. And then my next question would be, what about like acne on the, like I've seen it on people's heads, on the back of their heads, around their temples, that kind of stuff. Especially in men, maybe because they keep their hair short, but I haven't seen it so much in women, but yeah.
So to me, that's a dairy issue. And it is a lymphatic issue, because no matter if it's a pimple, a boil, a cyst, or a tumor, they're all lymphatic. And because they're all lymphatic, it's being jammed somewhere. Like this right here might not be opening. It's creating a lot of mucus, and it's creating it faster than the body can eliminate it. That's why it's so important to open these channels. And there is a specific way to open them, and I have videos on that. They're all free to watch. Actually, Toni, I think, has been putting them on one of her pages. So,
I only have one channel, and when you're watching this video, you are actually on this channel.
okay.
And I put it has playlist. Every video that we do is in a certain category. So I have a playlist there that just says Gary Parent, and that's where all your videos are.
Okay. Okay. Because there's some people around here that have been asking that on Facebook. And so I got to start.
You can all find them there. I haven't done the ones that you did in the last few weeks, but I work with a beautiful person of all countries, Nigeria, and he has always been so helpful with helping me with these things, and he did that all. And I do have a backup of all your videos, many of Dr. Morse's videos, our own, and they are on a separate, not on YouTube. So just in case that there would ever be an issue with YouTube, I still have all the videos listed there. But for now, I don't see a reason to really make that public, because there's no reason for it. And there are just many more people who would look first on YouTube anyway.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So what was the question again? I forgot it.
If opening the lymphatic gates would also help my shoulder, and then the acne on people's head.
But most of what's wrong with your shoulder would be, there'd be a blockage there, because remember, gate 3 is where there's the shoulder rolls into the chest plate, okay? And underneath the arm, this is where most of your lymph nodes are. All right, we get down to the lower part of the rib. And then this is not part of the gait, but it's something I do is just to push across, because if this backs up, it backs up in the house. And it's lung cancer, breast cancer, bone cancer, because these acids are hot and they're burning the cells. And the more they burn them, the less absorption that they can have. So there's an absorption issue there, and it's dehydration in your shoulder. Maybe feeling like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Could be I don't know if it's the male side or the female side, but there could be an issue there. These are just ideas and general things. Playing soccer, yeah, it took some stress, and there's some energy built there. Not good energy, but bad energy, because it wasn't able to clean itself at the rate that the acids were being, or the toxins were building faster than the body could eliminate them. Now, the Master Cleanse will get rid of that. Fruit juices will get rid of it. Green juices will. It'll probably take longer because it's not as quite doesn't have quite the electrical charge, but the qigong, where our thumbs are super important when it comes to rotating the arms and the muscles. So if you stick your thumbs up like this and you just turn your hands like this with your arms out to the side, you'll feel all the muscles in your arms start to move. And we do we put our arms, extend them out. I can't do it here because you can't see it. uh Extend them all the way out, and with the thumbs in the up towards the sky, we do 5 rotations one direction, 5 in the other direction. Then we come to the front like this, and then we do thumbs to the front, and we do 5 and then 5, and then we come to the front, and then we do with the thumbs all the way to the back, and we do 5 and 5, and this will help your shoulder. If it's really painful, or if it starts to get painful, then stop, because we're not into pain, we're into healing.
Okay.
And the other one is thumbs all the way down. So you would put the thumbs all the way back, you come here, and then all the way down, and you do 5, and you do 5, and then you touch in the front. And those are in every one of my videos.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, we've had a lot of shoulders, a lot of people at Spirit Camp, bad knees. They don't have bad knees anymore. It's all about movement and breath.
Yeah.
The breath is the engine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's why we have to start helping each other, or we're going to be in some serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole world is kind of shifting in the right direction. It's just that the system that is trying to keep us sick is really powerful, but not undefeatable. And that's what we have to remember is, well, I just sent Toni a video today. Our scientific community is trying to figure out how to take the garbage, the plastic garbage, and turned it into a plastic protein to feed us. So they're going to take that plastic bottle that your laundry detergent came in, and they're going to turn it into a protein for us to eat. So we'll be eating the garbage, basically. And I did a video. I sent that one to Toni too, but I did a video in Brazil. They have a wrapper made of rice paper that goes on your burger, so that they don't have to throw that paper away. You eat the burger, wrapper and all. And it has red ink on it. I mean, it's insane. And they're doing that over there. And they were talking about bringing it here. Well, here we are 11 years later from when I did that video. Now they're talking about turning plastic into protein so that we can eat it.
Oh, geez. I saw something about that, like in China or Japan too,
Yeah.
where they have some of their packaging is also editable,
Yes.
which I get the reason they're trying to do it, but
Right.
I-
But the original reason was so your food wouldn't be all covered with people's germs from their hands and sliding down the countertops and everything. Well, now it's wrapped in the burger and it comes in slides and people pick it up and put it in the bag and all that stuff. And then you eat it. So I don't think it's very sanitary.
mm-mm.
So the fluoride, industrial waste. There are, I had a list of them that I wrote down. Glyphosate. I mean, it's all part of our food package now, and they're all like margarine is one molecule away from plastic, and it was originally designed to feed the turkeys, and it was killing them, and they didn't know what to do with it because they had all this money invested in it, so they sold it to us as butter, and it's still on the market today, and it's an industrial waste product, is what it is. And yellow dye number 5, that's in almost everything. That's an industrial waste product, and that's why it makes people sick. I mean, there's tons of it that they're just putting it in our food. And then they come up with this great story about how good it is for us, and people end up getting sick, and they're going, I don't know why. Well, they do know why. And it's time that we wake up.
Yeah, I grew up on margarine because it has less fats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my mom's idea.
Yeah. And the cholesterol myth. Cholesterol doesn't cause heart attacks.
All that food we eat. Okay, you guys ready for my next question?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, now I asked this one like years ago. And when you were pointing to the nose, and you kept saying mucus, it reminded me of this question. Gary, do you happen to know why is sometimes the mucus green and other times it's like clear? What's the story on that?
I like that question, Katie.
Me too. So in lymphatic congestion, you have different stages of lymphatic congestion. There's 4: acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. So it's the same with mucus. So acute would be clear, and then subacute would be kind of a yellowish color, maybe a little bit of brown in it. But the green would be like stage 3 of an infection, and the infection is changing the color and the consistency, the thickness of the mucus. Because usually when it's green, it's really heavy, and it might come out in lumps. Where the clear is just running. So those are the things that are going on in your sinuses. It's an infection, but it's causing a lymphatic congestion, and you're seeing it in color. Because in the eyes, acute is white, subacute is kind of a yellowish color, and in a blue eye it would look green. And the greener it is, the deeper the subacute. Now we're like flowing between these two, and then if we hit full subacute and start going into chronic, which is brown, okay, we'll be flowing back and forth through there. And then degenerative, which is a really dark brown or black, okay, we'll constantly be flowing between those two. And the lymphatic system is a doctor's greatest friend. because all you have to do is wait. You're going to maybe have subacute. You don't even really feel subacute. When you get it, I mean, acute. When you get into subacute, yeah, as it moves more towards chronic, you're going to go to the drugstore and you're going to start getting some over-the-counter stuff. And then as it gets worse, because you don't know how to clean it out, you don't know how to open the gates or anything, how to hydrate, it starts to turn into or move towards chronic. Well, then you're going to start going to a doctor and you're going to get meds. And all they have to do is wait. The more chronic it gets, the stronger the drug. And you keep going back and they're going, yep, okay, so we'll give you some more drugs. And then the next thing you know, you're in degenerative and you're looking at surgery and chemo and radiation, when the whole time, all you had to do was clean out your lymphatic system and your body would be healthy, strong, vibrant, your mind clear, able to make great decisions. That's the power of the lymphatic system. All inflammation is in the lymph. Does that answer your question?
I couldn't get my mic to unmute me. That was a great answer, and it makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
So much sense. And then I was just wondering, as we are cleaning our bodies out and we're detoxing, I've noticed where it's been like the clear, and then once in a while I'll notice that's a little bit of yellow. Is there, like, as you're cleaning out, could you ever get to the green and brown that has just been sitting inside of you, or does that get taken care of first? It's kind of like mucoid plaque. I'm kind of thinking like, how mucoid plaque, it takes a long time to get out of your system. Is that the same with like this mucus
Well,
too?
yeah, so it's really the infection that you're trying to get rid of.
Okay.
So the best way to do that is live liquids and breath work. Knowing that there are lymph nodes right here, okay? And we can go, do you want to make sure gate 1 and 2 are open first? Because you're going to start moving lymph in the head, or mucus in the head. And tapping, tapping up here. Because as you tap, you're going to start breaking some of this stuff loose. And yes, you can get it all out. Because when the infection's gone, it goes back to normal. How long that takes depends on what you're doing. If you're going through the medical system, they're going to suppress it. And if you're going through the detox system, you're going to eliminate it. They eliminate it through suppression. We eliminate it through live fruits, berries, melons, vegetables, herbs would be another good one that would help with that. So there are lots of things that we can do, but you're going to have that cold and flu-like symptom. And if it gets too strong, I suppose you could suppress it a little bit, but the best thing to do, unless you're afraid for your life, the best thing to do is to push through it and just let it run its course, because the immune system will be stronger because of that. When you suppress it, you haven't really eliminated the core issue. And what we're doing is eliminating the core issue, and the immune system comes out stronger.
Yeah,
Which
and
is,
that is actually what I've been working on. It's
yeah,
like I am now on day 27 of my lemon water. Lemon, again, Tony, the master cleanse.
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
And it started, I started this because I had all these cold and flu symptoms and high fever and tired and a lot of coughing. It first started with a sore throat. So I was my best defense, not really a defense, because I gave in into being sick and let it all happen. Um, I am still coughing a little, especially when I want to talk. That's why I let Gary do most of the talking still. And he does such an awesome job. But with coughing up mucus, it was actually yesterday that for the first time I saw it was not clear, it was yellowish. And I do not cough up a lot of mucus still. So I decided to keep going. And March 16 is my birthday, and I was like, well, let's see if I can get to that point, and then it would be 44 days total. And I do want to tell you, you would think that people think you would feel weak. I am stronger. I feel so much better. I have more energy. It's unbelievable. I have less food and I have more energy. But I do drink at least 3 liters of the water with lemon, and I add the maple syrup. I was just thinking, oh, what's that word? It was maple syrup, and I love maple syrup, so that's good. And I've been drinking the heal all tea and the tree lung tea, which is now called the tree herb tea, which is helping getting the mucus out because it has mullein in it, mullein.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm doing good. I mean, my voice is not all there yet, and I still have this coughing going on. But I'm kind of curious to see how the body would further respond in getting the old mucus out, because it was probably 40 years ago that I last had the flu. Yeah, probably that long. It's a long time.
Mhm.
And so it was necessary. And because I have never been 100% fruit, but fruit and salads, but it is, and even then, I just did not get these symptoms. So I embraced it. I was sick enough to, at times, it's like, well, I cannot handle this anymore. I need to, if you have that kind of coughing and it hurts, then and you can barely breathe. I had to almost sit up sleeping. It was no fun.
Mm.
But being aware that it will get better, and once you start suppressing it, and I know, and I had a sister who did that. She passed away. She was younger than I am. She passed away already. Every year she had pneumonia. Every year. And it was just a normal thing for her. So run to the doctor, suppress it with medication, stuff that needed to come out never came out. And she got to a point, she got cancer, and then, the medical intervention, and she died.
Mm.
So it is so important to, and I do understand when there is a point that, it is just too difficult. And for me, it's like I didn't have to go to work, at 6, 7, or 8 o'clock and be at my work or else, so I could do what I did do. Yeah. So it is important. It is, and even, even when you went through your detoxing and you did all the fruit, and you eat a little more of other things, it's like do a yearly cleanse, because people were asking me that too. How often should you do this? And I'm like, you know what? I think it would be good. Do it in the spring. And just before, you have an abundance of all kinds of fruit in the stores and farmers markets, and maybe in your yard or garden, and do it every spring. And it doesn't matter if it is 3 days or 7 days. I would like, try at least 7 days, and you will see the benefits of this fast. It
Mm.
really is. I think it is amazing. I thought I was clear-headed. I'm more clear-headed now than I was before. So I'm happy with it.
Okay. Well, since we again Gary, when you were describing and you were touching your face, it prompted another question about our face.
Hmm.
By the way, thank you, Tony and Gary, for answering that question about the mucus and things like that. Um, I am wondering, you know how we do our tongue exercises?
Hmm.
Are there eye exercises that we can do that will also help increase the health of our eyes? Because it seems like a lot of people are asking questions about how do I heal my eyes? I don't want to wear glasses anymore. I want to heal my eyes. So I
Okay.
just was wondering, is there exercises for those?
Yes. And the other, I'll go through three things here. One is when you need glasses, which I had double vision glasses from the time I was 6 years old. And day 7 into the cleanse, and it was like late 99, early 2000. By day 7 of doing the master cleanse, I've never worn glasses since. And the reason is if these gates get closed and things start backing up in the head, the acid starts to build in the eye because the lymphatic channel is not open for that to eliminate properly. Um, and it causes pressure, and that pressure changes the shape of your eye. And as it either gets bigger or longer or wider or whatever it's going to do, and it changes that lens, it's going to determine whether you're nearsighted or farsighted. Stigmatism, all that stuff. That's all pressure in the eyeball. That's what glaucoma is, pressure in the eyeball. But when you do an upper circ brain and nerve, put some castor oil on your eyelids. This will help get rid of cataracts. You can put it right in your eye. It will not burn or anything. I just don't like putting things in my eyes if I can help it. And so you just rub it on your eyelid. It'll go right through your eyelid. It'll go in and it'll start to break up cataracts. It takes a long time because it takes a long time to build a cataract. And if you want to keep your eyes healthy, don't stare into the phone or the computer or the TV. Take some breaks. If you want to exercise your eyes, the best way to do that is be in a place like on your porch or it can be in your house. Looking out the window, you put your hand close to your face, to your eye. You can cover this one if you want, and look at your hand and where it starts to lose its focus, right? So you just look at your hand and then you look way off in the distance or a middle ground. And what you're doing is you're forcing your eye to focus at different levels. And it's like doing push ups with your eyeballs. And you do the same thing here. You'd hold your hand, okay? And realize how far away it is when you can see it clearly, right? And bring it in closer and closer and let it adjust. And then take your hand down and look way across the valley. Well, I'm in the valley here, so wherever it is, out to the wood line or wherever you are, the city where you can see far away. And then and look at something in the middle ground, give your eyes time to adjust, which only takes a second, and then come right back to this. Cover this eye and hold this. And these are eye exercises that will help your vision really, it'll help it a lot. And so we went through that, went through get away from that phone. You notice I'm not always looking in the phone. I'm always looking around because I'm distancing for my eyes so that they can adjust to different things. So I think that was 3, wasn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. Oh, good. Okay, well, I'm gonna start practicing that. And you know, the funny thing is like when you said don't look at computer screens and your phone and things like that, I
Hmm.
never wore glasses until 2021.
Hmm.
Why? Because I was a teacher and I got sent home to do online teaching. And
Yeah.
so I was on my computer Monday through Friday for over 10 months,
Mhm.
and I was on it. Because I was doing small groups and things like that on my computer. So I really was on my computer from like 8 a.m. until about 4:30. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so remember, they can cause cataracts too.
Hmm.
It's not just our diet that is, because we live in duality. So there's always two things that can happen. So there's always two ways to clean it up too. So this is the thing about glasses. Glasses are like a jail cell because once you put it on, your eyes are forced to see through that perspective so that you can see. If you take your glasses off, you feel your eyes shift. They're trying to adjust to what's around them. And our diet is a big part of that. The acids and the lymphatic channels not being opened. So the acid is building in the eye. EFT helps with that a lot. But anytime you can, take your glasses off. Some people just have reading glasses. Some people have glasses for distance. But uh, I'm a super huge fan of at least try a upper circ brain and nerve herb like skullcap, or Dr. Morse has a great one. Uh, and fruit juices, or the master cleanse, which is actually a fruit juice, the master cleanse, or even vegetable juices or smoothies, or you need to get some live liquids in your body and open up these channels. And when everything clears out, it goes back to normal. Now, if you have an eye injury, it's still you can still get your vision back. It may not come all the way back because it was an injury. So, because it was an injury, it can still regenerate. It's just going to take longer. But unless you get that acid out of that eye, it's just going to get worse. That's what happens. Even where we're wearing glasses now, right? And we're looking into these screens. Well, our eyes are still being bombarded by the blue light. If there was red light in there with it, it wouldn't do that. But they chose not to do that. Where all your old fluorescent lights that they just got rid of had red in it, had red and blue. Now, those were bad enough to sit in a room with artificial light like that. But these phones, that's microwave for one thing, and it's the equivalent to sunlight. So if you really, another thing you can do to protect your eyes is shut all that stuff off. Or if you want to listen to something, put it where it's away from you and the light's not shining in the room, put it face down or something, and listen to some music. And do open your gates and do your breath work. I mean, it only takes a few minutes. It's 24 hours in a day. If you can't come up with 20 minutes to take care of yourself, then you got a bigger problem than just your eyes and what's going on in your body. We have to step up to the plate and be responsible for our body. We are not our body, we're the energy in it. And we're treating our body like crap. And not all of us, by the way, but I would say most of us, because the system we're learning from profits from our sickness. In China, back way back in ancient times, you paid a small fee every month to your doctor, shaman, whatever it was back then, right? And if you got sick, you stopped paying him. And you stopped paying him till you got well. Then you started paying him on a monthly basis again. Can you imagine how our medical system would be if that's how it worked? I mean, it's incredible, but okay. Hopefully I covered all that for you. And just take care of your eyes. It's not difficult to take care of your eyes. They need exercise. And when we're staring into this phone, like it's not that far away from you, right? That's why I keep looking away. because the longer you stare into it, the more it affects your eyes, the more eye strain you get. And that's not a good thing. We don't want eye strain.
Well, thank you, Gary. Sarah or Tony, do you have anything to add or say?
Nope, keep going.
Okie dokie. Okay, so one of the things that you mentioned in healing our eyes, this is so funny, Gary, because you say stuff and then I'm like, oh, I've got a question about that already lined up for it. Okay, one of them, well, I'll go to this one before I go to the next one. So I was speaking with someone about her health, and I was trying to tell her that we're not meant to take vitamin supplements. They're not good for us. And she's like, well, I have to. We don't get enough sunlight. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to let that one be because it doesn't make sense to argue with somebody who's not ready
Right.
to hear that information. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about why we're supposed to take vitamins.
Oh, you said breaking up. You're breaking up.
I'm sorry. Can you please, or how do you explain to someone that you don't, when we don't have enough sunlight, which I totally understand because I live where I live in the North America, supplements is not the answer to the lack of sun. Does that make
Right.
sense? Like, it's not good for us.
Can I
No.
jump in first, Gary, real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even on the TV show Big Bang Theory, in the very beginning, Sheldon and Penny are in the aisle where all of the vitamins are. And I thought it was so funny, especially knowing what I know now. And I watched that show many, many, many years ago, but I just saw it again. Well, even Sheldon tells Penny, well, do you just want expensive urine? So, I mean, like, even they, you talk about that even on those shows like that. So I thought that was very funny. But I agree with you, Katie. It is very hard to talk with people when they're not ready to hear it. But yeah, I mean, I just tell people like, oh, it's expensive urine. That's all it is. It's processed. Our body can definitely not process any of it. It doesn't absorb it. Take your nail polish off, take your sunglasses off. I like to, do it like with my hair a little bit damp and wet. I have no idea what the difference is, but I feel something different and go out in the sun. I know then one of the other chats we were talking about like the sunscreen, people are so afraid. They coat themselves up with sunscreen. It's in the makeup, it's in everything. The reason why I said take your nail polish off is we absorb the sun through our fingernails and through our eyes and our skin and even in our hair. So I tell people that, it's you don't have to go out and buy anything. You don't have to go out and do anything. You literally just have to get yourself up and walk outside. That's it. So try that out and see if that works. And then, yeah, I mean, but if you want to keep buying your expensive urine, go for it. But you're just wasting your money.
Most of the big vitamin supplement companies are owned by Big Pharma. I don't know if you know that or not, but they are. So can you ask the question again? I kind of got lost when I said that.
Well, I was just wondering, like, how do you explain to people
Oh,
that you don't need these vitamins for the sun?
right. So what I've been doing lately when I talk to people about the sun, if they happen to bring it up, right? Oh man, that sun, that's a dangerous thing. Do you know that when you're in the sun, and I don't know if you have high cholesterol or not, but you might. When you're in the sun, it turns cholesterol into vitamin D, which helps your body, and it lowers your cholesterol. And you probably don't really want to know this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you do, but people's cells are cells. It doesn't matter if it's a plant or a person or whatever it is. If it's alive, it's a cell. Now, there are cells when you look at plants, because people are no different. They like the shade, and there are other plants that like partial sun. and there are other plants that like full sun. Which one are you? Because you're inviting them into the conversation. Which one are you? Do you like the shade? Do you like partial sun? Do you like full sun? And try to bring them into the conversation with curiosity. Usually when I'm talking with them, I'm just listening to their story. And I find little spots in there that I can pick things out and give them an explanation that they're not going to get from their doctor. And they may not want, it's like, well, if that was true, my doctor would tell me. Well, that might be. And how did the sun become such an enemy of everything when everything around us is growing and is alive, except us? Well, we're alive, but we're not growing healthy. 70% of America right now, they claim, is in a state of chronic disease, and chronic disease lives in the lymphatic system. So if you want to get rid of your chronic disease, clean your lymph. Don't think about your blood. The job of the lymphatic system is to purify the blood. So if you clean, if your lymph gets dirty and you're dehydrated, well, your blood's going to get thicker. And you don't want that. Just like they say that our body is 70% water. Well, our blood is 98% water. You think that would take up some of that. So they're just throwing out numbers. If you really want to know how your body works, it takes sunlight, it takes water, it takes nutrients, it takes movement, rest, having a great story, and grounding to the earth. Even if you don't get all of these, if you get some of it, you create a great story and you ground to the earth and you start doing live liquids, because there's minerals in live liquids. You start doing live liquids, your body will regenerate itself. It doesn't have a choice, because it was a lack of that made you sick. Does that answer your question?
Beautiful. And I love I loved what you shared about, like, well, what kind of plants, some plants like this kind of sun, and which one are you? I thought that was a really good thing. And it's like, I almost want to write a Facebook post all about it. It's so good.
Well,
It just
feel free
makes
to.
sense.
Yes, it does make sense. You're right.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to say anything before I go to my next question?
I cannot even add anything to that. I always thought, we just adjust and the body can keep whatever is needed for whenever it's needed. And even though we think the sun is not there, it's always there.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't worry about it. But then again, what can I say? I live in Florida, but most of my life I lived in the Netherlands, and I can tell you it rains a lot there, and it's more cloudy than we ever have sun. But okay, go ahead, Katie. Or unless Sarah wants to add something.
Well, I wanted to say that we did have a question, and I know, Toni, that you did answer a little bit of it, but Kathleen, in the comment section, she said that her mom is on pharmaceutical nightmare and is a perfect patient and takes an unknown number of drugs every day. If she ever listens to me, what is the safest way to come off of these poisons? My
Yeah.
intuition tells me to taper off, are there ones that can be stopped immediately?
Yeah, some are, but you really have to look that up. Because every time I have a client and I had a client with 8 different pharmaceuticals, and I looked them all up to see, of course, if I write an herbal protocol, I want to know if there's any interaction with the pharmaceuticals this person is taking. And it's rare, but we have to be careful with things like St. John's wort, and I think there is another one. But then I always look at the side effects of it. And sometimes people have so many side effects, and they see that for just another disease. And but that is another story. She wasn't asking that. But I always look, yeah, can it be tapered off? Can you stop immediately? Most pharmaceuticals, if you would stop immediately, they actually cause the problem that you were taking it for in the first place. So, and always this, we have to say that it always discuss this with your doctor, what you want to do. And hopefully, it is possible. But before anyone would start with getting away from the pharmaceuticals is to change the diet, do the exercises that Gary is teaching us, do the deep breathing and start changing the diet and then see, because you get to a point that you don't need that stuff anymore. And people are healing. It may be slow, especially, when we're older, we here we go again. I'm sorry, guys. We we are more acidic than, well, that is what it used to be, than the younger people. And it may take a little longer before our body clears everything out. So you have to take all of that into account. So it is a slow change. But no, never stop immediately. It's look it up. I think I mentioned WebMD because I had to look up a whole bunch of things for side effects. And when I type in the side effects of a certain pharmaceutical, I get everything, what it is needed for, what can happen, and it has all the information. And I believe it was WebMD, but I'm not 100% sure. But look it up, Kathleen. It's always good to know because I actually had someone taking medication for years because they were pre-diabetic. Well, I don't even need to add anything to that, I think.
No. So what I always say is, as your body heals, if you have a good doctor, he will regulate those drugs till you don't need them anymore. Which, and a lot of doctors, if your doctor refuses to do that, get a new doctor, because they're making money off in those subscription prescriptions. So a lot of them don't want to give that up. But there are many, and I'm there. Well, let's put it, there's a lot that will work with you. As your body heals, they'll start to back things down. And but if you're on benzos or something like that, you really need help to get off those things. Most of the medications they're making today are super addictive, and that's why they put you on them, because it's very, very difficult to get off. You're a drug addict, basically. And if you're on 7 medications, probably only one of those is for what was wrong, and the rest are to handle the side effects from the other the other ones. The first one gave you a side effect, and well, we need to counteract that. And this one gives you a side effect to counteract that, and then this one, and then this one. And the next thing you know, you're on 7 or 13 or 25. Or I've seen people with suitcases. Suitcases. They open them up, and there's nothing in there but bottles of drugs that they're taking. One guy, I think, he went to a detox place, and he had a suitcase, and I think he took I think it was like 45 pills a day. And when he went through this detox center, most of those were gone. So all you do is clean yourself out. If it's important to shower the external body, it's important to shower the internal body. Have a cup of hot water every once in a while. Do the cleanse, do the juices, even if it's veggie, because sometimes we are so congested that the fruit is too strong. It's moving more than the body can eliminate. And if it's moving more than the body can eliminate, you're going to have a cold and flu-like symptom. And so you may have to start with a green smoothie and work your way up into fruit to be able to control the speed of your detox better. And maybe we do a show on that sometime, the speed of our detox, because it's extremely important to know how to regulate that. And you regulate it by listening to your body, which is something that we have totally forgotten. So hopefully that answered your question.
If you guys have Netflix, there's some really good movies about prescription pills on Netflix. I'll tell you three of them. One of them is called Pain Hustlers. The second one is called Painkiller, and then the third one is called I think it's Take Your Pills. Anyways, they're kind of like documentaries and they're very good. So if you have Netflix and you're able to watch those about prescription pills, again, those movies are called Pain Hustlers, Painkiller, and Take Your Pills. So,
Okay, yeah, Kathleen is asking another question. What about over-the-counter supplements? I would say the same story. Dr. Morse is very much against supplements. It's isolated chemistry. Body doesn't even recognize them. They can do you more harm than good. I experienced that, with all the supplements, the whole alphabet and all the minerals and whatever was out there. And I was told I needed it by holistic doctors, actually. And even the pretty famous Dr. Burke is very well known for that. He has his own brand. We know another one who is pushing things like, I think, at Medical Medium. There are quite a few, and it's all, yeah, you need to take this because of that, and you need to take that. No, we do not. You just keep it simple. It is, change your diet, do the exercises and breathing that Carrie is showing us, and follow that, and you will see a change. And even once I stop with this fast, I was talking with Gary about it. It's like it would be good to actually, do a weekly 1 day fast. That would be good for everyone. And when you get to a point that you do feel you have to do something, because you don't feel well, stop eating for a day, and you will already see a difference. So that's my over-the-counter supplements too. I mean, row after row. When I first came to the United States, I was looking for, because I was always on a healing health journey and buying my foods at natural stores. What is it? In Dutch we call them biologische winkel. It would be well, like a Whole Foods kind of thing. And the first time I came here and I was there and I was looking for bread, yes, I was eating bread, but I thought only the good bread. There's no such thing. But anyway, that's not a point. But then I came in these stores and it was like row after row after row after row, only supplements. And I was like, my God, this is a health food store. So even, I first came to the US in 1981. So that was my experience that many years ago, ago already. So that's about supplements.
Yeah, I met a guy in Maine who had a porta potty business, and they said you would be amazed at how many vitamins they find in the waste. The ink isn't even dissolved on them. You swallow them and they pass right through and they go right out into the bowl. They don't even dissolve, not even the thing that stamps on it what it is. I mean, it's completely non-biodegradable. So one thing you should do when you get your tablets is put them in a glass of water and see how long it takes them to dissolve. If they don't dissolve, they're no good. Not that they're really good anyway. We need nutrients from real food, not from this synthetic stuff. When you go into a grocery store, the first thing you walk into doesn't have labels because it's live food. And they run right through that section to go read a label on a box of food it's not even food anymore. It's sugar. And they have to do that to give it flavor so that we'll eat it. They do the same thing to cows. They put high fructose corn syrup on everything because they're feeding them things they don't normally eat. And they either eat that or they starve to death. And that's why they're blowing up. And what are people doing? They're blowing up. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's a struggle because it's the food. The largest source of estrogen is soy. The second is hops. So all beer is really, really high in estrogen. And that's why guys get man boobs and big bellies. Because it's the estrogen. And it kills your testosterone. And then we wonder what's wrong with our kids today. What's wrong with our adults? Why they're all overweight? Because it's not just guys that are doing this, it's also women. And too much estrogen in a woman is just as bad as too much estrogen in a man. So these are the things that we need to look for. And they're scientifically proven to be good for us, even though they're not. So these are things that just be cautious when you go out there. They just came up with well, we won't get into that in this one. Maybe we can talk about that in another one. Uh, about what some of the things they're putting in the food.
Well,
That
when it comes to it, when you have to read a label and it's not real food, there's sometimes things, okay, if there is at least not all the these words that you cannot even pronounce,
mm,
it would be good. It's still processed. And I just came up with an interesting fact when you said about people walking through the stores, go straight to where they have to read a package if they read it.
hmm
Is when we had the hurricanes here, you easily saw all the things that were sold out. But we didn't have a problem because there was always an abundance of vegetables and fruits. It was amazing. And that is, when I go into the stores, that's the only place where I actually, buy food. But we were like, no, we don't need to worry. It's going to be sold out because nobody buys it. It's bread, it's cans, it's packages, and stock up on it.
yeah, for us back home, if there was a snowstorm coming, the bread and milk aisle got wiped out.
Yeah, yeah, that and here it is water. It's always water.
hmm
Yeah, and which is, I can understand that, but buying for your water, you have water coming out of the tap, get a good filter or get a distiller for what is it, $80 on Amazon and you're good. What I do, when something like this happens and it looks kind of bleak, which has happened a few times here. You may not even be able to get the water not even your tap water could work. Never happened here. That was always working. But we fill up the bathtub, so we still have water if need be, and we can still filter it, distill it. So we are always good, guys. We can do one more question, Katie, and I am fully booked today. So after that, I do have to go.
Okay, well, my next question actually had two questions, so I think I'll just save that for next time. So we're gonna go like switch gears here. Um, Dandelion. How do you use or eat dandelion from your own yard?
You can eat everything of it. You can eat the roots, but you don't really want to do it because you want to have it grow. You can eat the flower. You can eat definitely the leaves. The leaves here go into salads for me, or sometimes we juice it, or it goes for a green smoothie. So you can use all aspects of it and use the beautiful yellow flowers, put it in a tea. I have a group, and it started out as a Facebook group for my clients, and the link is actually in the description. And I often post um, things about dandelion flowers and how beautiful they are and how the what is it? Oh, I forgot the word. It has these different stages that it goes from flowering into those little fuzzy things that blow in the wind. It's absolutely beautiful. So I post that there, and actually, it's probably on my personal Facebook page too. Dandelion in the Netherlands was the worst weeds, so they said, that you could have. And of course, I was as bad when I lived there as I am as I am now with letting the weeds, not seeing it as a weed, but as a plant and let it grow. Oh my gosh, my neighbors hated me for that because they did not want any dandelions in their yards, and they're so pretty. So anyway, that was the dandelion. If you can, Sarah or Gary, you can add something to it.
Mhm. So,
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I
No,
was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, make sure your yard is not sprayed,
Yeah,
and even your neighbors' yards are not sprayed.
Right, yeah.
right. Um, so, yeah, from the root to the blossom, and the blossom is sweet, so you can just pick it and eat it. I mean, it is incredible. Uh, Most of the nutrients that are up in the flower, because that's the growth part, at night that goes back down in the roots. So it's better in the evening to dig it up if you want the roots. Uh, and you can make dandelion coffee out of the roots. I've never had it. I'm not a coffee guy. Uh, but the leaves, and you can make tea out of the roots too. It's a little stronger, so I like the leaves for that. The stems, uh, and you can dry the blossoms and use those too as a tea or and some people are picking them and putting them in batter and deep frying them and making a treat that way. I'm not a big fan of that. Never done it, but they say they're delicious. Uh, it brings nutrients up. They usually grow in an area where the soil is nutrient deficient, and the roots go way down in the earth, and they bring the nutrients up to the surface, and they revitalize that area of your lawn. But if you're outside, nature is always seeking balance, and it's reading your body, even though you don't know that it's doing that. And if you need dandelions in your life, because it's kidney and liver, and I mean, it works pretty much with the whole body. It's one of the most powerful herbs I've found. And it's right there in your yard. But you got to make sure it's not sprayed. Uh, but they'll start growing. If there's an imbalance that you need and you need dandelions will start growing like crazy on that land. And most people, because they've been trained, and this is another thing I share with people. If you want to know the best medicinal herbs for your body, go to a hardware store and look on the pictures on the back of a Roundup bottle. Dandelion, plantain. I mean, they're all superfoods. And, that's what you kill with those things. Uh, so you're actually killing the things that could protect you. But that's what we're trained to do, right? Because they don't realize that dandelion is I mean, it is so powerful. It is incredible. Uh, and plantain, too, for circulation. So, and plantain, you can take one of the leaves, broadleaf plantain. This is not the banana, this is the herb. And you put that in your mouth and you chew it up. If you're cut somewhere and you chew that up and put it on there, it'll dry on there and you'll be able to move your hand and everything. It won't come off. And within 5 minutes, it'll purify and seal the wound. And in 10 minutes, if you pop that off there, chances are you won't even see where you were cut. Yarrow will do the same thing. Yarrow, they used to grind it into not a powder, but close, and carry it in a pouch. The carpenters, when they get a cut, they just sprinkle some of it on there, and it would take care of the wound. So the medicinal plants are absolutely amazing, and nature has put them here for us. But we've been so pulled into the synthetic world, and we think because of the story they tell us that it's better. It's not better. It's not better at all. So that would be my thing about dandelions. And the plantain thing, when I had the garden in Rhode Island, and I was barefoot all day long in the garden out doing stuff, plantain covered that whole lawn. And then when I left, I went back 2 years later, there were none. So who was that for? I would say it was for me. And I wasn't fully paying attention. But this is another thing. When you go out and you look at dandelion, ask. You can do it silently. Ask, which leaf is the best for me, or which plant is the best for me, and your body will pull your eyes right to that leaf. And when you go to pick it, a lot of times you grab a hold of a leaf, doesn't matter what it's on, but you have to struggle to get it off there. The plant doesn't want you to have that one. It's not the right one. When you ask and you go to an area and you go to pick it, it'll just pick right off the plant. That's the one you want to eat, not the one you have to struggle. I've gone up to ginkgo trees, and I just nibble on the leaves and get the juice and spit out the pulp. And I just do that as I'm walking down the street. Rhode Island is full of ginkgo trees. So I've had leaves when I wasn't totally aware, and I could not pull those leaves off in that limb. And then I would realize it. I would stop and ask, and it would take me to a specific leaf, and I'd just touch it, and it almost like I didn't even have to pick it. It just fell off in my fingers. So we're connected in ways that we have forgotten, and it's time that we get back to that, to be aware of our breath, to watch a movie and be aware of our breath as we're watching it, because it's constantly shifting. And those are our emotions. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Gary. Well, we have time for not a short one, Katie.
Oh, you know what? I think maybe this would be a good time to maybe end our show, only because my next questions they kind of go together like as a theme. So if anybody else has a question that they want to present, that's fine. But I'm gonna hold my questions maybe until the next time we get to do
All
this,
right.
which is very, very fun. And thank you everyone for submitting your questions to me, or helping me generate some questions. I'm just very grateful. And thank you, Gary, Toni, and Sarah, for always answering all these questions. I just love it. It's been really fun these past couple of weeks.
Oh,
So
thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Mhm. I don't have any questions as of right now, and I really enjoy doing these types of shows, and I wish we had more people that would join in the chat and ask your questions away. I mean, we love answering questions, or at least tell us, like, any kind of show ideas or any topics or whatever. But I mean, these are kind of really hitting a lot of questions that a lot of people ask. So these are great to do. And thank you all.
Sarah. Yeah. Thank you all, guys, for being here again. Sorry, again with us today. It was a pleasure. Gary, thank you for always answering in the most detailed ways, and I keep learning from you, which I totally embrace. It's we always keep learning. It doesn't matter when we think we know it all. I definitely don't. And thank you, Katie, for coming up with all the questions,
Yeah.
and Sarah for always being here. I look forward to next week. Don't know, I know Katie cannot be with us for the next 2 weeks because she will be traveling, but we will come up with something, and you're always, always welcome to submit your questions. The link to do that is in the description. And how you can reach us is also in the description. So you know where to go when you need either one of us. So thank you all for being here. And until the next time, love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys.
Love you all. Bye-bye.